So hello my friends, Devaun Lennox here at PhotographyPX. In today's video we'll do our full hands-on review of the Sony ZV-1. Do know you can find timestamps and links in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment. Also know this is not a sponsored video. Let's get started. Initially released in the summer of 2020, Sony ZV-1 is a brand new lineup that departs from the long-standing Cybershot designation. And it's a new entry into the compact point-and-shoot arena that they aim specifically at videographers, YouTubers, and vloggers. On paper, it looks to be similar to Sony's existing RX100 lineup in several ways, and it inherits several proven successful features from both the RX100V and RX100VII. But unlike the RX100 series, which tend to be rather expensive, Sony aims this camera at the entry-level crowd, and for new users looking to enter the world of visual content creation. But considering this is their first camera they've explicitly designed for vloggers and YouTubers, is it worthy to sway users away from Canon's existing lineup of content-first options? Sony's claimed big promises, but will they live up to real-world realities? In today's video, we assess its strengths, weaknesses, and address whether this new release is worthwhile for aspiring creators. So, what are some of the goods, bads, and uglies of the Sony ZV-1? Let's start with image quality. It sports a new 1-inch 20.1 megapixel Exmor RS CMOS sensor and the Bionz X image processor, a similar setup as the recent RX100 lineup. And considering most compact cameras in this segment offer 1/2.3-inch sensors, the sensor on this camera is among the largest in this category. It also marks another Sony camera to inherit the new color science, a change first introduced on the Sony a7 Mark III. With that, the camera offers a tweaked standard color profile that provides more flattering skin tones, and Sony's explicitly developed this camera by researching various skin tones and ethnicities, so that the camera now automatically adjusts its color rendering to make every skin tone look natural and healthy. Combined with its updated color science and large sensor, the image quality produced is on a high level. The colors are natural and pleasing, and the images are sharp with ample dynamic range. Most reviewers don't typically shoot this camera for stills, but here's a full gallery of stills that we've shot using the Sony ZV-1. You can also see more still images in the link down below, and that'll take you to a full gallery as well. The camera also features a Zeiss Vario Sonar 24-70mm f1.8 to 2.8 equivalent lens, a lens taken from the RX100V, and this lens has a 3-stop neutral density ND filter built in, which reduces ambient light. Combined with its excellent aperture and Zeiss coatings, the lens produces image quality that punches far above its weight, and it provides a nice shallow depth of field and a real possibility of capturing usable low-light images. The camera also offers continuous shooting speeds of 24 frames per second in the high-speed burst mode, which makes it well suited for sports and action sequences. On the video front, this camera features uncropped 4K UHD video up to 30 frames per second and 1080p full HD video up to 120 frames per second with a full pixel readout. Both video modes shoot to the XAVCS format with a bitrate of 100 megabits per second. The quality of the footage this camera produces is excellent and on a high level. It's extraordinarily sharp with reasonable dynamic range and offers the same pleasing colors as stills. And in the spirit of the higher-end A6000 series, this camera also sports unlimited video recording, so you can record indefinitely as long as your battery or SD cards allow. An important note here, the camera's default auto turn-off setting disables 4K recordings after 5 minutes to prevent overheating. To shoot unlimited video, you'll need to change the temperature setting from standard to high. Also new for this camera is the vertical video format, and now the camera saves the shooting orientation as a part of the metadata for proper vertical playback on smartphones. And to date, it's the only camera to obtain this feature, but it's helpful and saves time in editing when uploading for Instagram or Facebook stories. Videographers will also rejoice knowing this camera acquires all of the advanced picture profiles Sony offers, including their S-Log, Cine, Rec 709, and HLG profiles. The camera also inherits proxy recording from the A6000 series, which simultaneously records a low bitrate 720p movie when recording higher-end XAVCS videos. This mode is perfect for transferring the captured footage to a smartphone for immediate sharing online. It also inherits the slow and quick mode from the previous RX100 models, which allows the camera to produce super slow motion or quick motion videos. In this case, it can record videos at 240, 480, and 960 FPS for ultra slow motion, and it slows down the footage automatically to the selected frame rate of choice. However, this mode does reduce image quality, and the camera only shoots these videos in short bursts of a few seconds, so proper timing is key. You can also capture still images during video recordings, and these sizes range from 17 megapixels to 4.2 megapixels in size, which is helpful. The camera also provides a clean 8-bit 422 output via HDMI out for use with external recorders or live streaming. Low light performance is good for a compact camera. It features a native ISO range from ISO 100 to 12,000 to 800, and users can expect usable results up to ISO 3200. For focus, the camera obtained Sony's latest fast hybrid AF system, where 315 points use phase detection and 425 points use contrast detection. The system also acquires Sony's acclaimed real-time AF for both stills and video, plus IAF for humans and animals. It's a similar iteration as their higher-end A6000 and A7 series, which uses machine learning and AI to perform subject recognition. And focusing is essentially perfect. The focus virtually never hunts or drifts from a subject. It recognizes faces and eyes immediately, even when they turn in profile or wear accessories. And for casual users and the demographic this camera aims, it's perfect and easily class-leading. Sony claims the system obtains focus as fast as 0.03 seconds, and while challenging to test individually, the focusing is incredibly fast, tenacious, and accurate. With this camera, autofocus is now at a point where you can entirely forget about it, and it's quite impressive to see. For those who prefer manually focusing, however, the camera does offer focus magnification and focus peaking. For displays, it features a 3-inch touchscreen TFT LCD with a resolution of 921K dots, and it now officially marks the first Sony compact camera to obtain a side hinge fully articulating screen, and the first camera to bring this to market. All other rivals, including Sony's RX100 lineup, employ tilting screens, be it flip up or flip down. This design, however, is the ideal choice as it provides maximum versatility for both high or low angle shooting. It also removes any of the issues that occur with blocking due to the use of accessories. The screen itself also provides excellent viewing angles and enough brightness for shooting outdoors. It's reasonably sharp with good color rendering, and since it's a touchscreen, it also supports helpful gestures such as touch focus, touch shutter, and tracking. Also of note, if you close the screen facing inwards, the camera automatically shuts off, which is helpful. It features the standard Sony interface and user menus. There are some subtle differences, but if you're familiar with Sony's menus, you'll be immediately familiar with this camera's operation. And newcomers will find them moderately easy to navigate and master, though they are still quite lengthy, and so is the user manual for this camera. It obtains the customizable function menu, which allows users to access 12 most used functions for quick access. It obtains the customizable My menu, which allows users to add their favorite settings to a single menu page to save time digging through the main menus. The camera also obtains the memory recall shooting mode, allowing users to create 3 sets of custom shooting setups for immediate access. The camera also provides 2 customizable buttons, C1 and C2. Physically, at first glance, you'll immediately see the resemblance with Sony's RX100 lineup, and like the RX100, this camera is also extremely compact and lightweight, weighing only 267 grams body alone. However, unlike that series, Sony successfully reimagined the RX100 form factor for video-centric creators, and comparatively, this camera offers some notable changes videographers will surely appreciate. Firstly, it houses all of the dedicated ports on the opposite side of the side hinge screen. A subtle change, but one that removes any hassle or frustrations when using accessories, and a change most manufacturers usually overlook. Secondly, it features a very large and conveniently placed video record button. Interestingly, it's the largest button on the entire camera body, which makes it super easy to find. Lastly, they've added a grip handle. This change in particular is greatly appreciated, as ergonomics on the RX100 is one of their weak points. Overall, the ergonomics and the form factor of this camera are excellent considering its compact size. The camera also offers a dedicated zoom lever for smooth and gradual zoom control. and it marks the first camera to feature background defocus, which Sony also calls the bokeh switch. They've mapped this feature to custom button 1 by default, and what it does is that it simplifies achieving a soft out of focus background, and it offers a simple and intuitive solution to switch between levels of background blur. And with the flick of a switch, you can change between a sharp background or a soft background without needing to understand the principles of depth of field, and it makes getting a blurry background incredibly automatic and straightforward. If you're curious how it works, it sets the lens wide open at f1.8 and automatically adjusts the shutter speed and ISO to maintain proper exposure. It's similar to the aperture priority mode, but it changes the settings in real time for accurate exposure. The camera also features a tally lamp, a light on the front face that indicates when video recording is active, helpful to ensure you don't accidentally forget to hit the record button. Here are some niche features that the camera offers. It has a built-in panorama mode. The camera has a built-in intervalometer for time lapses, though it doesn't create a movie in camera. For this, you'll have to use the Imaging Edge desktop software. It has zebras for exposure warning indication. It has built-in HDR. It does feature a microphone input, and you can adjust the audio levels via the menu. The camera obtains Sony's multi-interface hot shoe from the RX100 lineup, allowing users to connect Sony's shotgun microphones or other accessories without using cables. The camera supports USB charging and continuous power, perfect for charging on the go or live streaming. It features what Sony calls a 3-capsule microphone, which is a unique set of forward-facing internal microphones. This design and structure uses spatial filtering to capture audio in front of the camera, without picking up distracting ambient sounds. And interestingly, Sony even includes a windscreen that attaches to the hot shoe. Attaching the windscreen improves recording quality dramatically, and it's quite rare to see one specifically built for use right out of the box. However, the caveat is that it takes up the entire hot shoe, making it unavailable during use. Nevertheless, it's exciting to see Sony address the poor audio quality that typically plagues most built-in microphones with this update. And the fact that they've optimized it without the need for a special accessory is a welcome touch. It features the new soft skin effect, which softens the image quality to create more pleasing skin tones with smoother gradations. This effect also has 3 levels of intensity, which helps you tailor its impact based on the shooting situation. It also features steady shot image stabilization, which blends both optical stabilization, OIS, with electronic stabilization, EIS. It's a similar lens-based system taken from the RX100 camera, and this system provides 3 levels of intensity ranging from standard to active, and the most aggressive option, active, works quite well to provide very smooth videos. The caveat here is that enabling this mode results in a 1.2 times crop into the frame, effectively increasing the lens focal length from 28mm at the wide end. Considering that 24mm is already cutting it close, the additional crop eliminates most of the camera's wide-angle ability. Thankfully, Sony's recognized this as an issue, and even if steady shot is disabled entirely, the camera remembers the gyroscopic measurements and embeds the information into the file, and surprisingly, you can enable stabilization in post using Sony's Image Edge software. Overall, this is one of the better image stabilization systems in a recent compact camera, and it's well suited for most applications. The camera also features the new Smart Auto Exposure AE function, which optimizes the exposure for faces. This is a new type of auto exposure that prioritizes the subject's face as a marker for proper exposure. Essentially, the new algorithm makes sure the face is always evenly exposed, rather than the background or the brightest section of the image, and it acts as a spot exposure that recognizes faces and colors and skin tones. It's an excellent addition that works well when filming in changing lighting conditions, and it does a good job of making sure the subject's face stays evenly lit. The camera also offers built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, and you can remotely control the camera and transfer images using Sony's Imaging Edge app. It also now has a movie add-on which lets you transfer and edit footage directly on your phone for sharing online. Nice. It obtains the auto object framing for stills, which automatically trims the captured image into the appropriate composition and saves it as a JPEG, a useful feature. New for this camera is the product showcase setting. It provides a fast and precise focus transition from you to the featured product. By default, Sony maps this function to custom button 2, and basically this mode temporarily disables IAF, then quickly focuses on the object closest to the camera by widening the field of view. Just hold a product in front of the camera and it will immediately focus transition to it, which is perfect for reviewers. To date, it's the only camera to provide this feature, but it greatly simplifies the process of showcasing products for creators. Do know the product showcase disables the camera stabilization, so if you're using this mode, it's best to have the camera on a tripod. The camera ships with the optional wireless commander grip with dedicated shutter release, video record, zoom, and background defocus buttons. This grip connects wirelessly via Bluetooth and also doubles as your tripod. You can even use the grip to shoot vertical videos without rotating the footage later, and overall it's an excellent addition and a worthwhile option if it suits your needs. It's one that generally makes the camera a lot easier to use. Let's go into the cons with the Sony ZV-1. The camera only offers a 1-inch sensor, which means it's not particularly strong in low light. And this also means if you want maximum background blur and subject separation, subjects will have to stay relatively close to the camera. As you start to move further away from the camera, the depth of field isn't nearly as shallow as an APS-C or full frame equipped camera. The lens doesn't offer a way to attach external neutral density filters. If you want to add extra ND, you'll have to modify the lens slightly to install them. On the video front, like many cameras in this class, it too suffers from rolling shutter when panning. With that, take caution when panning to avoid the distortion that occurs. Battery life isn't great. It inherits the same NP-BX1 battery as the RX100 series cameras. Sony rates the camera at 260 shots per charge or 75 minutes of video recording. Typically, a 350 shot lifespan is the industry standard for a compact mirrorless camera. Thus, you will need extra batteries if you plan on shooting longer shoots with this camera. It lacks a built-in electronic viewfinder. If you want this feature, you'll have to consider Sony's RX100 series cameras instead. Sony continues to use the same non-touch interface and menus, a shame considering rivals offer this ability, particularly so at this price point. With that, you'll have to navigate the entire camera using the rear D-pad, which remains mostly inconvenient. Like most compact cameras, both the battery and SD cards live in the same compartment slot underneath the camera, and unfortunately quickly changing either is tedious when using the commander grip or a tripod or a gimbal. The camera lacks a headphone output. The camera lacks a built-in pop-up flash, however it's a worthy trade-off for the updated microphone. If you want this feature specifically, you'll have to consider Sony's RX100 series instead. Unlike the RX100 series, it lacks the customizable function ring that surrounds the lens barrel. This ring was helpful for manually focusing and also doubled as a function button. Now without the ring, manually focusing occurs using only the camera's D-pad, which unfortunately is incredibly difficult, slow, and less intuitive than the focusing ring. Overall, unless desperately needed, avoid manually focusing on this camera. So is the Sony ZV-1 a good camera for you? In short, yes. In the end, Sony ZV-1 is a home run release on Sony's part, and it's an excellent camera that's perfect for the target audience, YouTubers, vloggers, content creators, and one that goes a step above the competition in automation and features that make the process of creating great content that much easier. Is it perfect? No, but considering its only real limitation ultimately becomes battery life, its flaws are mostly negligible. It delivers a large 1-inch sensor, high quality lens, unfailing autofocus, unlimited 4K video, log profiles, a microphone input, an articulating screen. And compared to rivals, it's a slam dunk, particularly for vloggers. And these features combine to make this camera the current leader of the class in the sub $1,000 compact segment. It's clear that Sony listened to the feedback from their community, and that feedback has created the perfect vlogging camera, and hands down the best option on the market for this purpose to date. Sure, in many ways this camera is just the culmination of the best features and recent successes from various RX100 releases, but even so, it's something special, and while it doesn't replace their existing RX lineup, it's an excellent companion tool for current shooters, and one that surprisingly provides better value for those specifically looking to purchase the RX100 7. All things considered, this camera makes it extraordinarily easy to create content, and if you're looking for the complete point-and-shoot camera, this is currently your best option. So there you have it, my friends. There is our hands-on review of the Sony ZV-1. If you have any comments or concerns or questions or something you'd like to know regarding the ZV-1, please leave those in the comments down below. Also, while you're down in the comments, check out the pinned comment in the description, and that will take you to the accompanying blog post, and you can read more about the ZV-1 and also see some of the accessories that we recommend for the ZV-1. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found the contents of today's video insightful and it added value to you. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Also, leave us a like and a comment in the description down below. Let us know if we overlooked something or we missed something that we covered in today's video. I've been your host, Devaun Lennox. Photography.